You know that video I did the other day where I said I turned a few grand into 93,000 playing the crypto currencies such as, in this case, Veritasium? Be on the lookout in the next few weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks maybe. If for some reason that it isn't brought to my attention automatically, but word on the street is that for some reason that video is going to go viral. It's already been released a while ago, you know, a week ago now or whatever. So if you happen to catch that, Jay Snip, it's going crazy right now. It's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Let me know. Because I don't just get like a notification on YouTube. I have no idea. Just curious. Silver Doctors has a interesting article. Matt Taibbi on JPMorgan's Chase's worst nightmare, the $9 billion witness. I'm like, you know, it's not. I had to read a little bit. I was like, no, that sounds familiar. I do remember this, but it's back in the spotlight. It's totally worth talking about. So more submitted by James Hall. In reality, there is nothing surprising in Matt Taibbi's latest piece since returning to Rolling Stone from The Intercept, as it tells a story everyone is by now all too familiar with. A former bank employee, in this case, Elaine Fleischman, or is that Fleischman, who was a worker in banks, in this case, JPMorgan, mortgage operations group, where she observed and engaged in what she describes as massive criminal securities fraud, and who was fired after trying to bring the attention of those above her to said criminal activity. Now she, no longer works there. Career is pretty much over. See how that works? Oh yeah, well, we have a whistleblower group. Come on over. Yeah, you got whistleblower protection. Like the beef jerky, Jack's Links. Oh, hey, guy. Yeah, come on over. And they play a joke on her. Hey, whistleblower. Yeah, right over here, homie. Didn't know you wanted it back. Yeah, come over. The attention that Taibbi is receiving for the Rolling Stone essay, The $9 Billion Witness, Meet JPMorgan Chase's Worst Nightmare, may push forward a serious debate on the systemic corruption that is common knowledge among informed observers of the financial structure. Zero hedge can always be depended upon to instinctively sum up the issue. Or decisively, whatever. In reality, well, actually, not the one. Yeah, that's the one we just read. The story doesn't end there, and as Carmen Segura already showed when she revealed that Goldman Sachs runs the New York Fed, once Elaine was let go and tried to whistleblow on the house of Dimon, that is Jamie Dimon of JPMorgan Chase, from the outside, she found that the U.S. Department of Justice, at that time, headed by Eric Holder, is just as, if not more, corrupt, and in his desperate attempt to prevent discovery and bring JPMorgan et al. To justice, he would stretch the statute of limitations on frauds committed during the crisis long enough to where nobody had any legal recourse anymore, up to and including you and me, the U.S. taxpayer. Well, that is a sober and tragic assessment. Even more heartbreaking is the statement made by Ms. Fleischman, as reported in Straight Line Logic. Quote, and now with Holder about to leave office and this is from before, and his Justice Department reportedly wrapping up its final settlements, the state is effectively putting the finishing touches on what will amount to a sweeping, industry-wide effort to bury the facts of a whole generation of Wall Street corruption. I could be sued into bankruptcy, she says. I could lose my license to practice law. I could lose everything. But if we don't start speaking up, then this really is all we're going to get. The biggest financial cover-up in history. Again, who went to jail? Who did they get? Caused the meltdown in 08. Who did they go after? Eric Holder. He's the same guy who said, we're not going after them, any bankers, because we fear that doing so would cause a detrimental impact on the markets, the economy. For that reason, we're not going after them. The rule of law basically has been suspended for the club at the top. And yeah, who was the president at that time? Who picked the Eric Holder? Obama, the other part of the club. The only coherent response that regular citizens can exert when dealing with the mega financial houses is to avoid entanglements whenever possible. What good is it to establish accounts, whether as loans, savings, or investments, when the rules of survival are stacked against Main Street customers? Watch the Taibbi, or is it Tabby? I forgot that guy's, how you pronounce that guy's name. Interview with, for his explanation of the scandal. Firms like JPMorgan or Goldman are not terrified by fines because they are protected by the too big to fail culture. Bailouts are a way of life, an infusion of easy money into the liquidity flow of balance sheets, employ the most creative accounting techniques to cover up accurate net worth. The threat of principals actually doing jail time is so remote that the probability is far greater that the next Secretary of Treasury will come from their ranks. Which is why we always get a Goldman Sachs guy in there, right? This plight produces a true dilemma of confidence. In this environment, only brave souls dare become a whistleblower. Public support for such individuals like Fleischman and Segura is faint because neither are public persons, readily recognized by most people. This lack of notoriety as individuals is far less important than the criminal activity both are documenting. However, in a media-driven and social networking society, the personality of celebrity far outpaces the substance of the offenses. Matt Taibbi's star persona, deserved or manufactured, illustrates that getting attention through the clutter and noise of the sound bites is possible. For an unknown person, getting your 15 minutes of fame requires even more creative strategies to expose the basic purpose in the news revelations. The dying mainstream prostitutes will not confront the intrinsic nature of the abuses because their own financial futures depend upon Wall Street support. Yet, struggling middle-class Americans foolishly rely upon their reporting and advice in most financial matters. What's that saying I always say? It is hard for a man to tell the truth when his job depends upon him not telling the truth. What was that? The dying mainstream prostitutes will not confront the intrinsic nature of the abuses because their own financial futures depend upon Wall Street support and all their advertising money, etc. Oh, wait a minute. Someone corrected me. It's not etc. It's etc. Got it. Thanks. JPMorgan Chase's net worth, or no, not whoa, back up. JPMorgan Chase's worst nightmare, fundamentally, is the unwinding of the derivative black hole of their making. The essential risk of a collapse and implosion of the financial manipulated markets only grows because no effort or willingness exists to purge the system of crooked companies, practices, or individuals. The culture of corruption survives because the pattern of exposing and demanding justice is so brutally punished. How can meaningful accountability come from internal reform when the price of disclosure is the end of your professional endeavors and even your livelihood? You blow the whistle, you're done. The rest of your life, you're finished. You'll never get a job in the industry you're done. Arguments, data, and evidence of generational embedded fraud have been made by some of the most intuitive minds on finance and economics. Nonetheless, the degeneracy accelerates. The wolves of Wall Street target their prey when they lobby regulators to allow for more exotic financial products that are designed to fleece the public and place the entire monetary system in greater jeopardy. Activists rally during election cycles to pressure the establishment. The Occupy Wall Street movement, misguided on potential solutions, did muster awareness with media exposure. However, most taxpayers do not exert sufficient outrage about the selling out of their financial security. Stopping massive criminal securities fraud is a true national security requirement. Internet revelations can only expose the latest schemes. As stated in the essay, repeal of Glass-Steagall and the too big to fail culture is a major reason for the current unsustainable breakdown in trust and lack of liability consequences for financial institutions. Take the opportunity of the Elaine Fleishman disclosures to demand that your newly elected representatives exert the courage to advance a national debate on a major overhaul of the ground rules for Wall Street. While the prospects are slim that any constructive and critical legislation will come out of the new Congress, public indignation needs to grow and intensify. The battle for economic viability and perseverance of capital is being lost for ordinary citizens. An angry constituency is necessary to confront the outrageous abuses that pass as normal conduct. Sacrifices of Elaine and Carmen Segura need not be in vain. Mobilize for action, boycott the big banks and security fraudsters. So that's interesting. One little thing here. The battle for economic viability and perseverance of capital is being lost for ordinary citizens. Since that's happening, and since I feel like there's not a chance in hell any of this is going to change, because we keep getting more of the same old crap, because Wall Street is the government, and Wall Street doesn't police itself. It's not going to. Therefore, the government's not going to, because again, it is Wall Street. So you have to take these matters in your own hands, get you some precious metals for the rainy day, and get into these damn cryptocurrencies. They are going up and up and up, and you're going to be left behind. That way, whatever this rotten government does or doesn't do, you can say, I had a pension, it got crushed. Yeah, I had a 401k, it got crushed. It's all okay though. What do you mean you're okay? You look happy. You lost those things and you're like happy. Oh yeah, well I took a loan out against my 401k and bought into these. You ever heard of these cryptocurrency? What is that? You ever heard of Bitcoin? You know, I have heard about Bitcoin. What exactly is that? Digital online currency. It's more like a commodity than a currency. But yeah, listen, I had 5K. I flipped into 93K. Imagine if they did that with half of their 401k loan. Oh, you had $50,000 you took out? If I did that with 5 times 10, right? 50,000 would be like $1 million, $900,000. If they did the same move that I did. Yeah. But like they always say, you know, trading is risky. Don't trade more than you are, feel comfortable potentially losing. Well, I get it. And Boyd, I got a quick story for you on the most epic, volatile, massive run up, down, up, down, up, down within seconds. That lasted for like 2 minutes. I got a quick story on that one. I don't know if I'll do that. I may just do that next. Take care.